Hi, we are officially 100 days away from the US presidential election. The 2024 presidential election will give a stark choice to the US voters between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. In the meanwhile, one aspect Americans may like to consider is that how close the both candidates are to the former presidents of America like George Washington or Abraham Lincoln or FDR. I understand no two individuals are the same. All individuals are unique in this world. But at the same time, how these two candidates are closer in terms of the competence, in terms of the capabilities, in terms of the visioning of America, future America in the times to come. Whether they can have the competence, they have the will, they have the vision to recreate the magic of great America in the times to come during their tenure and forward after that. Let's figure out in this particular video. Stay with us throughout the video. Thank you. In my opinion, America deserves a campaign that tests the strengths and weaknesses of both the candidates, a campaign that highlights their differences and allows scrutiny of their plans, a campaign that motivates voters by giving them a clear account of how their choice in this election will affect their lives. American deserves more debates and transparency in this particular election. Trump-Vance campaign has been sharpening its attack on Harris, casting her variously as soft on the border issues as the second coming of Karl Marx. Whereas the Democrats are invigorated and a cast of characters who are new to many voters have come out fighting, criticizing Trump and his running mate as being out of touch, a threat to democracy, and having dangerous beliefs on abortion. One of the key issues that Americans are looking for the solution from their leaders. Also, both the candidates should start taking the questions from reporters too. Candidates have abundant opportunities to speak to the candidates, to the voters directly, through social media or through tightly controlled public appearances. But what is the fun without the mediation of journalists? There are the interactions who could put a questions on behalf of the public, on the mass, on the trends. So they should consider both taking the questions involving media in their campaigns. President Biden has rarely granted the news media opportunity to ask questions on behalf of the American people. And on the rare occasions he did, his team sometimes sent scripted questions. It left them poorly prepared for the campaign. And Mr. Trump too rarely take questions from the media during the campaigning. So Ms. Harris has the chance, has the opportunity to do better this time, to connect with the people through the media. Let's see whether she is going to do it in the subsequent part of our video. Besides media, engaging with voters is specifically important to Ms. Harris because she would be the first major party presidential candidate in modern times who did not pass through the state primary process, in which voters have a chance to take the measure of the candidates and to ask questions about the issues that matter most to their countries. Before I move forward, let us understand what are the most important issues for the voters in this United States for this 2024 presidential elections. As you can see on your chart, 25% of the voters are worried about the price rise, inflation. Another 10-11% are worried about immigrations, jobs, economy, healthcare, abortion. Top 5 makes about 65%. Besides the other issues like climate and environment and civil rights, national security, guns, and taxes and governance, civil liberties, and other socio-political topics. So these are the questions, these are the concerns with the percentage broken down, where American voters would like to see how both the candidates are going to respond on these topics as their policy matter. Vice President Kamala Harris has a delicate task of calibrating her policy pitch to American peoples. This is a standard task for any White House aspirant. But one that comes with additional challenges this year is that, first, Harris is running for presidential while serving under President Joe Biden, meaning she is linked anything that happened or will happen. She inherits in accomplishments of like limiting the cost of insulin from the healthcare side, but also the administration suggests struggle to prevent illegal border crossings. So she has the challenge of her own because she is coming from the power directly. She needs to strike a balance during her policy pitch to the voters. Second, Harris has a baggage from her own failed campaign for president before she became Biden's running mate for 4 years ago. During the Democratic primary, she backed an array of progressive proposals that Republicans have highlighted to paint her as a dangerous liberal. Harris has already dissuaded some of her earlier positions, such a ban on fracking and support for single-payer health care. And she's pledging to keep some of Biden's promises, including no tax increase on anyone making less than $400,000 a year. So these are the plus sides also. While Harris hasn't made the policy pitch, although Trump is hardly consistent when it comes to policy proposals. Mr. Trump, who speaks mostly about Mr. Trump, is an extreme example of this tendency and is a perfect embodiment of its politics. His campaign, however, continues to exist primarily as a series of long, winding speeches that offer no insight into how to end the war in Ukraine, or how he is going to handle Canada border issue, how he is going to handle Israel. So all these are the lengthy talks, nothing in points. So other points, the two of many goals, he has promised to accomplish if re-elected. The former president has barely been pressed on important policy matters or offered any concrete plan. Number of times media asked, but he dug. The stability of democracy depends in part on public belief in the legitimacy of the elections. We sincerely hope and wish that this election would have the highest degree of the transparency. Attitudes towards elections are based on people experiences and what they hear, what they see from the media and the experts. That's why I said both the candidates should consider involving media interactions during their campaign, because losers are more prone to distrust election results, but the level and persistence of distrust is shaped by elite messages and electoral expectations. So it is very important both of the candidates engage with the media so that not only their perspective is being conveyed, but they also hear the masses voice through the media and understand that perspective, so that if the fine-tuning in their policy is required, they can do so effectively.
Messages about elections can affect public confidence, but it seems easier to damage confidence than to strengthen it during the electoral process. Reporting of election results faces challenges given delays in counting and shifts in vote margins that are often highlighted in news reports. Jan 6, 2021 episode might be still fresh in voters' mind, where few hundreds try to demean the democracy of the great country. So, both the candidates should ensure right messaging during and after elections, especially. With this, wishing all the best to both the candidates and Americans, and hope that they would choose the one who would make America a stronger, richer, and more responsible nation that is also free from violence. Hopefully, American voter would give a chance to meritocracy than anything else.
With this is Dhirendra Gaur signing off. Hope you like this video useful and informative. Please do subscribe our channel if you haven't, and also provide the comments in the section below. Thank you very much. Do take care of yourself. Stay safe. See you soon.